Arkansas fans, before you give me grief, remember what happened last year. We look at the Hogs 2019 next on the Voice of College Football. Mark Rogers TV, the Voice of College Football, breaking down the Hogs for 2019. We're looking at all the schedules in the Power 5 and ranking them from 70 all the way up to number 1. We've arrived at schedule number 28. First off, we need to remind you, of course, encourage you, and you wouldn't let us get away with a video without reminding you that you can help us build the channel by grabbing the Amazon link in the description section below. Do your regular Amazon shopping using that link. That is key to help us build the Voice of College Football. And also, we are so pumped to bring you along on board to our community, the Voice of College Football community. Grab the link below, the Voice of College Football community, and you can take part in live streams each and every week. So one exclusive live stream each and every week. I respond to your viewer comments, and then in the other live stream, I bring you on to talk college football with me. Can it get any better than that? Let's talk Arkansas football. Because of a number of series that were broken, that were signed as contracts. I don't know specifically this one that pertains to 2019. I believe last year's was the Michigan game in which Arkansas was supposed to play Michigan. I believe they also signed at one point to play Notre Dame. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Arkansas, because of that, not necessarily their fault, the other program backed out. I know in the case of Michigan, they certainly did. That Arkansas's 2018 and now 2019 non-conference schedules are awful, abysmal, easy, and they still couldn't make it a postseason play or come anywhere close to it last season. And the reason I made the comment off the top that I did is because I picked last season for Arkansas to go 1-7 in the SEC and 5-7 overall, and I took all sorts of grief for being just a complete moron that knew nothing about college football, that had obviously never watched an Arkansas game in my life, which I'm guessing for most of the people that wrote in, I've watched more Arkansas football than you have probably. And then also I was chided for picking the Hogs again to go 5-7, 1-7 in the SEC. I have not heard from any of those people since, but check out any of my previews and predictions involving Arkansas last season. It's quite comical. The 8-4s and the 9-3s and the 7-5s that were predicted by Arkansas fans. They were adamant. And I was rather lofty with 5-7 and 1-7 in the SEC. Of course, they went winless in the conference and actually found a way to lose to Colorado State and lose by 27 points to North Texas. All right. Their non-conference games for a second consecutive season involve no Power Fives. Of course, recently Arkansas has had a home-and-home with TCU and a home-and-home series with Texas Tech out of the Big 12. But nothing in 18 and 19. No Power Fives, so they can grab a win right out of the gate on August 31st against Portland State. Then they dive into the SEC against Ole Miss on the road. They've got Colorado State at home. So they went to Fort Collins last year and they lost to the Rams. That's an embarrassing showing for any team in the SEC. I don't care if you're the worst team, as Arkansas was in 2018 in the conference, to go and play a group of 5, not even a good group of 5. I believe Colorado State finished 3-9, and Arkansas lost that game to Colorado State. So they get the Rams at home. They should have much incentive to make amends and not lose to Colorado State 2 years in a row. That would be embarrassing. Arkansas should get off to a decent start as well because they've got September 21st, San Jose State, another awful, awful Group of 5 team heading to Fayetteville. Then they dive back into SEC play with a date against Texas A&M. That has become a neutral site game in recent years at Jerry's World in Arlington. Open date. And, of course, you hear me say this all the time. In rating these schedules and ranking them, it's very, very important who these teams play in the other division. If you play in the SEC, the 7 teams in the other division, you miss 5 of them. You only play 2 of them. And, of course, if you're Arkansas, you play Mizzou every year. So who's the other team that you play? Last year was Vanderbilt, a light touch, but they still lost that game. And this year it's a fairly light touch, relatively speaking, Most people not expecting Kentucky to be the 10-win top 10 team that they were in 2018, and that's Arkansas's next game on October 12th at Kentucky. This stretch is mighty difficult. At Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama on the road, Mississippi State. That 4-game stretch, and if you don't include the bye week, they've got Texas A&M in front of that, but of course they've got the bye to get ready for that 4-gamer against Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, and Mississippi State. Then they have an opportunity to gain another win and try to get to postseason play. The formula seems to be go 4-0 non-conference against the group of 5 and the FCS, and go 2-6. Can you find 2 wins, Arkansas, in the SEC? And you could go bowling this year. Those most likely would come against maybe Ole Miss, Missouri. I don't know where you find those wins. They're most likely against Ole Miss, Missouri, and maybe Kentucky. 2 of those 3. It's Western Kentucky, November 9th. That will not be a gimme at home against Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Open date before they conclude the season against LSU on the road, and, of course, the rivalry game in Little Rock against Missouri. This is the 13th most difficult schedule in the SEC, so there's only one other schedule that's easier in the conference. Hopefully you're checking out all the videos and keeping track with us. And if you are, you know that this is the 28th most difficult schedule in all of college football. It belongs to Chad Morris and his Arkansas Razorbacks in Season 2 under his reign. We'll be back with schedule number 27. Please leave your record projection below. We've got the Hogs going, sound familiar? 5-7 overall, 1-7 in the SEC. Hopefully they can live up to that record this time and make me look good. Right here at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football.